Welcome back, Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today I'm going to be talking about GAXY, GalaxyNet.us. Now I'm going to go through due diligence first and then technical analysis. If you want to skip through that, you'll find the links to that in the description and in the comment pin below. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help the channel grow, subscribe, and notifications on, and let's jump right into it. GAXY, Galaxy Net Generation. So GT provides technology for classrooms of today for a generation of tomorrow. Now they have multiple different brands: G2 Interactive, which is interactive panels, mounts, and accessories; Phoenix Communicator, which is Bell's intercom, alert desktops, and Android apps; and Adjust Amount. Now, one of the latest things that they do have is their COVID shield for G2. Now, it is a clear barrier. Basically, it's a lot of what you've seen around. Usually acrylic or whatnot, covering in for either students to cover them out or staff, etc. So they meet the CDC guidelines, no assembly required, it folds up flat, students finger protection design with pinch guard, etc, etc, etc. So we want to know a little bit more about them, right? Who are they and what is the products that they do have? And so I try to go on first through the presentation here, but it looks like they don't have a presentation yet. So you know what, I'm going to brush it through and I'm going to go on towards the business description quickly. Galaxy Net Generation is a US distributor of interactive learning technologies, hardware, and software that allows the presenter and participant to engage in a fully collaborative instructional environment. Galaxy products include Galaxy's own private label interactive touchscreen panels, as well as numerous other national and international branded peripherals and communication devices. Galaxy distribution channels consist of more than 22 resellers across the US, who primarily sell the company's product within the commercial and educational market. Galaxy does not control where resellers focus, etc, etc. That's not important for us right now. But you get to see that, well, you get an idea of who they are. Now, some of their products here is quite interesting for us because we want to know more, right? So there is the G2 one. I tried to go on towards the products page, but no results were found, and I just did it right in front of you. So that was kind of funny in terms of not having all their products or all their information set, but I also did try to go on towards just brands and clicking on each of them, whether it's G2 Interactive, Phoenix Communicator, and Adjust Amount, to get a bit more feeling of that, and I was able to get some results. So the G2 Interactive panels, they're interactive flat panels. They're slim interactive flat panels by Galaxy Net Generation that basically you can think about them almost like a touch screen interactive. If you've watched the elections, you know, on CNN, on some of these different channels, they have these screens that they keep touching. That's pretty much what this kind of reminds me of. They have 55, 65, 75, 86, and 98-inch model. You can think about them as, well, an interactive panel where you can either have, well, pictures, and also you can have more of a touch interactive control. So that's basically where you can think about it. It could be also thought about as an interactive system using their mobile stands. You can think about it as an entertainment unit. You know, when you were younger, they used to roll those massive TVs into classrooms. Well, now they have slimmer ones. So that is something to think of. Phoenix Communicator. It is basically a communication network where you can either have alert and visual announcements, bell and intercom, with either an unlimited schedule, or if you would like to manually override it, you can do that. It gives you maps and zones about the entire, well, the map of the school, schedules, devices that are around. They're able to communicate with all Paramount devices, whether it's on SIP or multicast devices. And they can also work on either desktop or Android. And yep, so that kind of gives you a bit of perspective on their Phoenix Communicator solution. Now, the next thing here is Adjust Amount. This one here, if you'd like to think about it, is an interactive panel, entertainment units or panels system. And basically here, the panel's too tall, the panel's too short. With Adjust Amount, the panel is just right. So if you have students coming up at the front and they're writing something, especially for the younger ones, you can install these Adjust Amount, and they can basically, well, adjust where the height of this panel is, so it fits more towards the student's height. So that kind of covers it. They do have 3 different sizes. One's for screens for 37, 55 inch, 50 to 70, and 70 to 90. And yeah, they have different the profiles are almost exactly the same, 125 to 127 millimeter, with a height range of around 15.7 inches. Thing that's very much straightforward. So we're going to move forward from here and see some of the latest news. So Next Generation releasing G2 visuals alerts on January 1st. That, if you recall, they did have an alert systems as well, and now they're going to be announcing a new product release of G2 visual alerts on January 1st, which is today. So I'm all excited for that. I don't see an exact time for that, but I do expect it sometime today. And that is positive news. Now, the next thing here, GalaxyNext Generation awarded COVID Shield contract from Diligence in Western Pennsylvania. And that was around 1,800 of them. And it shows you, hey, there is interest of that product. Now, there is a whole lot of more news there. So, Next Generation retained consultants and increasing visibility into the reseller market. The GalaxyNext Generation partners with Mid-States Audio and Video for entrance into South Dakota. The list goes on. So you get to see that they have a presence in the market. They're not just a shell company or just a random company that is trying or promising something. They actually have products. Now, I'm really disappointed about their presentation not being available, but we're going to brush that through. We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt for technical difficulties. 2020 has been a rough year, and so hopefully we'll see it in 2021. Institutional buyers from my portal here, I do start seeing some on 13G's SEC filings out, but in terms of the 13F and fund filings, I only see Hilton Capital Management's with around 25,000 shares, a very small amount of shares. Insider buyers, you get to see there have been just buying and buying and buying shares ever since I have it on record. So that is really positive. It shows you they do believe in the company, of course, as an insider, and they're buying more. They're scooping more shares. Now, the amounts here aren't that massive per se, but they're adding around 500,000 shares at a time. That's what it looks like in the last 3 transactions. LaCroix had around 2 million shares. It still adds up significant amounts. Now, in terms of their recent 10Q, so that's the quarter results, you get to see in terms of cash, they are almost exactly the same. Total current assets, that has increased mainly to inventories and to accounts receivables. So that shows more customers in, and that is positive. Your total net assets is $5.2 million. Now, that's not in thousands. Sometimes these guys put them in thousands. This is just as it is. So 5.2 million compared to 4.5 million. That is positive. Total liabilities or total current liabilities has decreased by 1.6 million. That is as well a good indication that they're moving in the right direction. But one thing here, the line of credit for Note 5, that wasn't there last year. And so the net total liabilities, you're looking at from 12.2 million to 11.3 million. A significant decrease, around 900,000, but still not as good as the total current liabilities, but still an improvement. So I'll take it as it is. And then what we want to look at here is quickly the revenues. You get to see, as I said, I was pinpointing that account receivables has increased, and thus, there you go, revenues have increased as well. So your revenues have increased almost to double. The cost of sales, of course, have risen, but the gross profit has more than doubled, and that is amazing. From 131,000 to 345,000. Loss of operations, you're going on from, this here is a negative impact, because you get to see loss for operations was 2 million. Now it's almost 3.8 million, almost close to 4. So 3.8 million, we'll say, from 2 million. And that is significant. And the main thing is general administrative. That went double. And so did stock compensation and stock issued for services. And so when you look into the net loss, things aren't looking good at all. You get to see that there is massive expenses throughout. Interest expense related to put purchase agreements, interest expenses, so that alone was around $8 million. And then you got expenses related to convertible note payables. You have around 1 million there. Interest accretion around 400,000, and your net loss before income taxes is around $13.13 million compared to $2 million. Now, hopefully that doesn't continue on, because some of them were related to stock prices, so for put purchase agreements and their interest, but still, things aren't looking that good. Well, yes, their net basic and fully diluted loss per share is 0.008, which is better than 0.138, but take a look at their total amount of shares. You went from 14.67 million to 1.6 billion shares. And so, of course, when you divide that massive number by even a bigger number, it's going to be less. But in general, I counted the net loss. Next thing we're going on for is, well, what happened there in terms of the previous SEC filings. Offering, well, more offering. Well, that's how they raise the money, how they raise assets or capital. It is through offerings. So there's another offering, 13G, which is a direct investment, 13G direct investment, which is good. And this is more offering shelf, 13G in direct investment, offering. This one here was all the way back in July, in 22nd, basically saying that they're going to be trading on Friday, July 24th, based on the Security Exchange Commission. But you get an idea. These OTCs usually, what happens is that they do release a lot of offerings because that is one of the main ways they get capital. They can't just go in through a bank and usually get a finance credit line, but some of them do, but the majority of them do a lot of offerings. But the question is what they're doing worth it, and is that offering fine in terms of bringing more capital? Well, it looks like in terms of the price points, and I'll go through the technical analysis a bit, it didn't really affect it that much. But quick thing, the market cap here is around $65.21 million. Now, we'll want to look at, I try to go on towards statistics and try to find price over book, price over share, but Yahoo Finance doesn't have it. OTCs are a little bit difficult to extract these numbers. So what we're going to do quickly is go through the financials and taking a quick look into their balance sheet. We already compared their recent sales. I don't have their, well, we do have a bit of the annual, but there's a missing on 2018 and things are a little bit messed up. So we're going to do balance sheet here for, let's say, annual, or we'll do quarter, okay? And then you get to see the total assets here they have is 5.2 million. So if they have 5.2 million, yet their market cap is 65.2 million, that kind of tells you a little bit of something there. Either it is highly overvalued, or they cured cancer, or they're the next Tesla or something. But, you know, keeping up an open mind, let's take a quick look into their total debt. Total debt is 6.5 million. Now their net debt is 5.5, but let's say 6.5 with 5.2, their assets to debt, still their debt is higher. Okay, what about their cash? Can they pay off their debt anytime soon? Well, the cash is around 411 million. Okay, so, oh sorry, 411,000. My bad, I thought that was a dash. 411,000. And their total debt is 6.5 million. It's not looking good. Okay, what about their income statement? Revenue? Right now, sorry, their net income, as you get to remember from, we just talked about it not long time ago. We were deep in, so we said 411,000. And if we were to go back here and you see the net loss per quarter is around 13.13 million, they are in trouble. They will need a lot more money. And so expect dilution, and that is basically the name, that's the name of the game. So unfortunately, I do expect a lot more dilution. Now, how is it going to affect the stock price market? We need to look a little bit into technical analysis to understand a little bit of the psychology of traders. But if you haven't done it so, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, because it helps show YouTube and others that this channel has something. If you have any feedback, please mention them down. I do take every feedback into action, and a lot of these videos, if you watch my previous ones, they improved a lot. If you would like to join our Discord and chat with me and other amazing folks on there, it's a pump free zone. You'll find it in the description below. Let's jump right into technical analysis. So technical analysis here on the 1 week perspective, the really bullish thing here on this one is that, well, ADX is showing, hey, there is somewhat of a trend here, a possible trend, but it's very weak, even though it's a 38.55, but you get to see it's almost a horizontal line for a few weeks now. So that's not good. Momentum is actually climbing up. Moving averages on a 1 week perspective are bearish, and that's kind of expected on a lot of OTCs. But taking a quick look onto a 1 day, here's where things get interesting. It's a 42.90. This shows that there is a very strong trend that was here. It's going to start seeing resistance around 45. We need to look into the 2-hour perspective to understand this a bit more. 10 SMA is above 30 EMA, and you get to see the 200 SMA is above 50 SMA, but the 50 SMA is climbing up, so the purple line is climbing up. Once the purple line climbs up to the blue line and crosses it, that is a bullish sign. 10 SMA above 30 EMA, that is bullish as well. That's the green line above the red line. These are all averages. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, there's an educational series video down below. Now, average directional index is positive there. It shows a possibility of extended trend. We need to look a little bit into the stochastic fast and stochastic slow. 1% R is retracting, and that's a little bit dangerous. It's going towards neutral. MACD is balancing out just a little. That isn't dangerous. And momentum is a little bit more at a stagnation level. Now, on a 2-hour perspective, what we get to see is that the MACD is actually climbing a little bit downwards, and that is not good. It shows in the possibility of a negative trend following. 80x shows in there is highly a possibility of it going towards the negative trend. Above 50, that is, I never hold above 50, and it's right now 73.20. Now, in terms of 1% R, you get to see it's highly oversold, and the moving averages, things are interesting here because below the 19 cents, it goes bearish. The trading action zone where you're probably going to see positive reversals is between 27 cents and 19 cents. Below there, things get a little bit rougher. Now, moving average band is expected to trade 12 cents on the top, 11 cents in the middle, and 10 cents in the bottom, but it really hasn't followed that in a while. Stochastic fast and stochastic slow are both showing there is a strong potential that a massive pullback or even a massive drop is to come. So if I was just to follow the stochastic fast and slow, I would sell. Now, coming on towards the Fibonacci retracements, you get to see the current support sits at 21 cents, and then the current resistance on the Fibonacci retracements is 29 cents, 36 cents, 42 cents, and if we extend it just a little, we get to see it is coming up to around 50 cents, and then 62 cents, and then around 90, I would say, sorry, 0.094. Now, when I say 62 and 42, please add another 0 because this is an OTC. It goes 0.0 something. So my bad on that. Now, coming on towards going on traditional supports and resistances on a 15-minute scale, just to try to find what are the significant supports and resistances. Current support sits at, we're going to zoom in here just a tad to get better numbers. There we go. Let's say the current support currently sits at the 26 cents. And then below there, we're looking at 25 cents, 24, and then 23, 22, and then 21. Okay, so it looks like it's almost every 0.001 cents. So I would say below the 26, it's in danger. Okay, and then below that 23, that's another one. And below the 0.0205. And then significant resistances that I think if it breaks, it might see a nicer high. I'll probably say around the 0.34 cents and then the 0.038. As you get to see, I'm not very familiar with OTCs in terms, or I'm not very used to OTCs, and so there's been a little bit of trouble there, but I hope you really understood the message behind this. If it was for me, Ed, what do you think? I'm not really fond of OTCs because they tend to be a little bit overvalued at times with a little bit of direction. But is there money to be made here? You're going to have to look back at volume. So I do think there is a possibility that money can be made here if you're trading it. If you're investing it, things might go on good for you in the very long term. The balance sheet is a little bit rough and I expect a lot of dilution to come. If you were to think about, well, Ed, do you think if I was to buy on Monday morning and see a little bit of profit, it's a high risk, but all the indicators are telling you to sell right now just because there is an expected massive pullback or drop to come. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful day.